Dorsal root ganglion. In anatomy and neuroscience, a dorsal root ganglion or spinal ganglion is a nodule on a dorsal root of the spine that contains cell bodies of nerve cells called neurons that carry signals from the sensory organs toward the appropriate integration center. Nerves that carry signals toward the central nervous system, brain, or spinal cords are known as afferent nerves.
There is more and more awareness about the problem of chronic pain, and chronic pain is becoming a disease, not only in Belgium but all over the world. For example, in Belgium, we know that about 25% of the population is suffering from chronic pain, and this has a cost of about 10.
Help them with prescribing pharmacological agents, but sometimes patients have a lot of side effects and have not a good pain relief. Then we will go for interventional pain therapy. Nowadays, we can treat patients with chronic neuropathic pain after operations like knee surgery, abdominal surgery, mastectomy, and now we have the opportunity and the possibility to help these patients with a novel spinal cord stimulation, namely dorsal root ganglion stimulation.
Now, dorsal root ganglion histology.
What is this? Well, it'll soon become apparent. As we zoom in, we could see things that we have seen all throughout the shotgun histology series. We could see a lot of big nerves. They're wavy, they're loaded with Schwann cells, and we could see that all of these big nerves are in very close proximity to another type of tissue which has huge cells. This is a ganglion. This is a dorsal root ganglion, or DRG. The dorsal root ganglion has two kinds of cells. It has these big neurons with big nuclei and big nucleoli, and they're surrounded by smaller kind of protective cells called satellite cells, which kind of protect these neurons like glial cells do. And then we have the actual neurons. They are pseudo-unipolar neurons. Can we go a little bit deeper? Yes, we can. The various types of neurons in the body can be classified by generally function and shape. And these neurons, which you can see, are
The axons or dorsal root ganglion neurons are known as afferents. In the peripheral nervous systems, afferents refers to the axons that relay sensory information into the central nervous system. These neurons are the pseudo or unipolar type, meaning they have an axon with two branches that act as a single axon, often referred to as a distal process and a proximal process. The neuron can consist of three parts. First, dendrite that receives the information and relays it to the soma or cell body. Two, soma, the cell body of the neurons, and three, axons, which relays information from the soma.
The spinal cord has two layers consisting of white and gray matter. In cross-section, the gray matter resembles a butterfly with wings spread. Each wing has a dorsal, upper or toward the back, and ventral, lower or toward the belly, horn. Within the dorsal horns, interneuronal cell bodies accept information from sensory neurons to measure pain and temperature. These sensory neuron cell bodies lie in the dorsal root ganglion, outside of the spinal cord. They send their axons into the spinal cord via the dorsal roots. The ventral horns contain the cell bodies of motor neurons. These neurons project axons out of the cord through ventral roots to supply muscles and glands. The size of the ventral horn, and accordingly the number of cell bodies, varies along the length of the spinal cord.
In a neuron, the dendrite receives information from another neuron's axon at the synapse, and the axon sends information to the next neuron's dendrite. Ends of the dendrite may be covered with myelin. Unlike the majority of neurons found in the central nervous system, an action potential in dorsal root ganglion neuron. These continue to propagate along the proximal process until reaching the synaptic terminal in the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Location: the dorsal root ganglion lie along the vertebral column by the spine. The nerve endings of dorsal root ganglion neurons have a variety of sensory receptors that are activated by mechanical, thermal, chemical, and noxious stimuli. In these sensory neurons, a group of ion channels thought to be responsible to somatosensory traduction have been identified.
Here we have a model of the spinal cord. The first thing you notice on the model of the spinal cord is that the outside of the spinal cord is white matter. So all around here we can see the white matter. All around here we can see the white matter. Down inside you can see the gray matter. And that's this darker color here, the gray matter. Now, what is white matter? White matter is just a whole bunch of myelinated fibers. And so on this model, you can see those fibers right here. These white wires are representing those myelinated fibers, which have a whitish appearance. If you put thousands to billions to millions of them in here, you're going to have, it's going to give a white appearance, and that's why it's white matter. We also have spinal nerves. This is a spinal nerve coming out here. This is a spinal nerve coming out here. Here's a spinal nerve. Here's a spinal nerve. On the spinal nerves, we have roots. Here is the dorsal root. Here is the ventral root. The dorsal root has a swelling.
Compression of the dorsal root ganglion by a mechanical stimulus lowers the voltage threshold needed to evoke a response and cause action potential to be fired. This firing may even persist after the removal of the stimulus.